Hi, I'm Sophie, and welcome to my world. You know, I get a lot of requests for not only jewelry things, but also room decor, things to perk up your room. So one of the things that I thought would be kind of fun would be to come up with an inexpensive jewelry holder that you could personalize for your own bedroom. And what I came up with are these little picture frames. And as you can see, it's just a little miniature picture frame, and it's got two wires across it so that you can hang your hanging earrings. You could also use your necklaces. You could do a bigger one, like an 8.5 by 11, or even a bigger frame, and you could do whatever things you wanted to put in there. You could put necklaces, you could put headbands, you could put anything, bracelets, you name it. So I'm going to show you how to make one right now. And for this project, we are going to need a few materials. The main thing is you're going to need one of these picture frames. Now, this picture frame I picked up at the dollar store, and it actually is a wooden one. It's a very lightweight wood, and those are the best to get because they're not going to be hard to hammer into. We're going to actually be using little push pins. Now, not thumbtacks. These are push pins, and a push pin actually has like a little base that you can use. And it's going to be very important for this project. I'm also going to be using my X-Acto knife, so make sure, of course, that you're using adult supervision with that. Scissors are always good to have on hand. A ruler. I'm going to be using a piece of foam core, but you can also use anything. You can use cardboard or the inside of like a cereal box, anything, just a backer of some sort. Now, if you can't find wire, you can always use pipe cleaners. That works nicely as well. Now, let me tell you something about wire. The interesting thing about wire is that when you go to buy it in the craft store, the higher the number, the thinner the wire. So this, what I have right here, is a 24 gauge. It's nice, it's malleable, you can move it around really easily. It's not too thin, so it's got enough weight to it that it'll hold your earrings or your necklaces, but it's still easy to use, so you're not going to have to use tools to actually manipulate it. So this is 24. I would say anywhere between 20 to 24 would be good. I wouldn't go any higher than that. 26, 28 gauge is going to get a little thin. So 24 up to 20, even 18 would be okay. And I've got a little hammer here. I'm not going to need a hammer for this one because my wood is soft. But if you get like an IKEA frame, which this is actually an IKEA frame that I have right here. My IKEA frame is actually harder, and I found that I needed to hammer in using a hammer to get my push pins in. That's not my favorite because sometimes what happens is it hurts the push pins, it breaks them because they're only plastic. So I would prefer to get a softer wood frame. Okay, I am going to be using a pair of needle nose pliers in this case, but you don't necessarily need them if you have very strong fingers. And I do have a pair of wire cutters, although any wire that you use that is like 20 gauge is going to be easily cut by a pair of scissors. Okay, I know that's a lot of information. Sorry about that. So first thing first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take on the back of your picture frame, when you open it up, you're going to see that there are these little tiny pieces of metal, and you push those back and you remove your backer. Now, save your backer. Now, if you want to hang it, you can throw this away, but because you've got this little easel stand back here, this is going to make it great for displaying on your desktop. Now, if you want to hang it, you don't necessarily have to use this, but there are built-in hooks on this one, so I would probably still keep this. And take off your paper and the glass. Be very careful when you take out the glass. You will not need this glass, so just take it and set it aside. Make sure that you put it in a safe place because it is easily broken. Okay, what I'm going to do now is take my piece of foam core, and in this case, I want to lay it down and with a pen, I want to mark it along the sides here. Now, I would actually prefer to be using a ballpoint pen because it gets it closer, but in this case, I have got a Sharpie. Now, when you come back and cut, you want to make sure that you're cutting inside that line. So you just line it up because you don't want it, so see how I came inside the line? Because you don't want it sticking out past your frame. You want it actually inset from your frame, but not too much. So I'm just cutting it basically right inside that line, and I'm using my ruler to make a nice straight cut. Now, you can use it like this, nice and white, if you want to, because then you'll be able to easily see your jewelry. However, I've actually taken a piece ahead of time and covered it with some duct tape. Now, if you want to, you could cover it with fabric, you could cover it with paper. It's up to you. So I've actually got mine all covered with duct tape ahead of time. I cheated. Now, take your frame, and I'm going to take my needle nose pliers, and what I'm going to do is just pull out these little metal strips. And these are for basically holding in your frame back and your picture frame and your picture. And we don't need these anymore. So I'm going to pull those out. Now, if you have strong fingers and you have soft wood, you should be able to pull this out with your fingers, but it's nice to have the needle nose. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put thumbtacks in here. Now, like I said, with the soft wood, it's really nice and easy. I'm just going to, right in the middle of there, just put one here at the top on either side. And then what I like to do in a small frame like this. This is a, what is it? This is a 5x7 frame. I like to give myself a couple inches of space for my earrings. So I'm going to basically figure out where the center is, which is about 3.5 here, and measure down an inch from there, half an inch from there, excuse me, so I get about 4 at 4-inch mark. I'm just going to place a pin. And I'm going to do it on the other side as well. 4-inch mark. I can even slide it over so that I get it where I want it. Place a pin. Now, up at the top, I've got this one. That is actually just to support my back piece. I'm going to measure down an inch for my first. So I'm going to put that right there. And put this one right here. So that's at the 1-inch mark. Basically the 1-inch mark and the 4-inch mark. And then I'm going to put 2 at the bottom, and the reason I'm going to put 2 at the bottom is, once again, it's for my backer, making sure that my backer is nice and secure. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our wires. And so I'm just going to take my wire, and I'm going to show you how to attach both the thin wire and a pipe cleaner. So this one's going to look a little wonky, but that's okay. You get the idea. Okay, so I've got my thin piece of wire, and it's a little bit longer. I've made it about twice the size of what I need. And the reason I've done that is because I want to give myself plenty of extra wire when I'm securing it. So what I've done is I've taken my wire, I've wrapped it around once, twice, and with this extra little bit that's hanging off, I'm going to actually secure it to itself by twisting. Just like that. And then I can cut off this little extra with my scissors or with wire cutters. That's what I mean about this being nice and easy to cut, because it's made thin enough that a regular pair of scissors will do it. Okay, I'm going to pull this tight. See how I've pulled this tight over to the next thumbtack? Okay, so I'm going to pull it tight, and I'm put my finger right here, and I wrap that extra around once, twice, 3 times. Then I come down, and I wrap it around. Once, twice, 3 times. And snip off that extra. And that's, you really want to have that extra there because it just makes it a lot easier. Now, with the pipe cleaner, it's basically the same thing, except with the pipe cleaner, I don't usually wrap it around. It's so big and chunky, I usually don't wrap it around the actual push pin thumbtack. What I do is I make myself a little hooky, wrap the hook around so it's just up and over the push pin, and then I take this loose end, cross it over the main part, and just twist. and I twist it and twist it and twist it till it's nice and tight. So that's not going anywhere. Then I come over to the other side, do the same thing that I did with this wire, wrap it around, and then I just go under and wrap this a couple times like that and snip off the extra. The funny thing is it's actually harder to cut the pipe cleaner than it is the wire. Isn't that funny? Okay, now we are ready for the backer. Now, I've got this piece that I told you. I cheated ahead of time and I covered it with duct tape. But remember, you can always use just plain white. I mean, the plain white looks just as nice. The thing about the plain white is you'll be able to see your earrings probably a little easier. But the thing about it is that you're not matching it and embellishing your room with it. So I like to use duct tape that picks up the colors in my room. So as you can see, that fits perfectly. And what I'm going to do is take my hot glue and I'm just going to put a dab here and a dab here. Now watch your fingers when you're using the hot glue gun. And I'm putting dabs of glue just on all 4 of the push pin tops. Now that's why you want to use push pins, because 1, it gives you space in between because they stick up higher, and also because they've got a nice head on them so that you can get that hot glue on there. Okay, and I'm just going to put it on top. And I've got a little time here because hot glue takes about 30 seconds to dry, 30 to 45 seconds to dry. So I've got a little time I can goojee it around. Now, I'm going to add my backer. Now is the time to decide which way this goes here. It goes that way. Here we go. So you just pop this down, put it so that it's right in that corner. So this is the easel part, and you just want to make sure that that's right in the corner there, and it fits perfectly. And now I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue all the way around the backer here. And as you can tell, because this is going to cover, the backer is going to cover, I didn't need to put that last bit of tape in there. And once again, I can get this placed, and then I can make that perfect where I want it. There we go, like that. So there you go, that's your picture frame. Now remember, you can also do it this way if you want to. All you would do is just shift your positions. You'd just put your thumbtacks this way instead of this way. But this is getting nice and long. Now the one thing I did want to show you is on this IKEA frame here, I was going to show you how to add a hanger. And to do a hanger, all you're going to do is take your little push pin there, take your wire. Now if you've only got a pipe cleaner, that's okay. Take your pipe cleaner and roll the end of it, right? Roll it like that so that you make almost like a fiddlehead fern. Take it up and over, snip it, make another fiddlehead fern on the other side, and then you can either tape or glue that into place to make a little hanger, or take your little push pin, make a hole, right? Just kind of wiggle it around in there. Then take your thin wire, push it through, bring it up and over. So pull it through, bring it up and over, do exactly what we did before, which is wrap it around, pull it down, do the same thing on the opposite side, make that hole, pull your wire through, and you might need to just get it in there, make that hole. If you can't see it because of the duct tape pattern, which is what's happening here, you might want to leave your tack in there. Then pull it through, wrap it around. You can make this as big as you want. Cut off your extra. Cut off your extra. There you go. And so now you've got one that you can hang, and you've got one that can stand. You could even do one on top of the other, like that. For more great ideas for your jewelry and for your room, come and check us out at Sophie-World.com.